Hello one, this is Chase Pounds. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing about the Bell Witch, which is kind of the beginning of my Halloween edition. So I'm a little off schedule because I was really trying to mention some other historical events. It was September before crossing over into October, and I was going to. But my plan was to, for all of October, do more topics of historical topics on kind of paranormal events. Even though I'm not a person that celebrates Halloween, I was trying to be, I guess, creative around it and try to discuss like a mixture of historical paranormal events. But since we're already at the beginning of October, I just might as well start my videos off of this subject, which is the bill, which now this story is kind of conflicting and it had different variations of events, and I was browsing the internet before doing this video to kind of refreshing my memory and get an idea what to discuss about. And a lot of the accounts I've read is kind of vague and odd, and it's just different variations than what I've been used to hearing of this story. I mostly heard the story from a documentary I used to watch, and you can still find it on YouTube. Actually, I watched it last year around Halloween, called Night Visitors, which is it talks about, it's a kind of obscure documentary, and I was trying to research and hear reviews of this documentary, but there's nothing much available, though the full video can be found on YouTube. And it's the documentary focused on mostly primary hauntings in different parts of the U.S. primarily. And at the beginning, it talks about the Bell Witch haunting, or curse, is sometimes been referred to. It's set in Adams, Tennessee, which I've been passed by there last year. I went to Nashville. When we went traveling to Nashville, we passed a sign that said Bell Witch Cave, which is kind of setting around when the story takes place. But it's set between many of the articles I've read. What article I've read is set between 1817 and 1821, and it involves a family known as the Bell family that they had migrated from North Carolina and settled in Adams, Tennessee, which then at that point was kind of a frontier stop between the late 18th century and start of the 19th century. It was a lot of European white settlers were settling in the newly established state. Both plantation owners as well as independent small layman farmers. And I think the Bell family was one of those people that Selden were one of the people they built from the big start. They built a small farm, and it was pretty much a plain, simple, humble life for most people at that time. But that was unfortunately changed when out of nowhere, and and there's like different. I guess I don't know the exact variations, but there's different ways people say that the spirit came about, or which spirit came about, and people say it starts with in the documentary I'm used to hearing, it starts with like sounds on the farm, like shaking sound, rumbling sound, like sounds of an earthquake or some sort. And there's other occurrences. Other variations say when, say I think John Bell and his son were out hunting, and this is also depicted in another documentary called America's Haunted House, which also features a little segment on the Bell Witch in the little reenactment. And they come across, while hunting, they come across this unidentified or unknown animal. It's not like any other animal. It's like a mixture of different animals, like a beast animal, like a dog or rat, like a mixture of a dog, rabbit. It's not a natural looking animal for that time, or wasn't known to man today. And they look at they try shooting at it, and it just goes, and just it shoots, scares it off, and then scares it off. Still, activity continues as the daughters are, I think the daughters are I think taunted by the spirit. And there's in the spirit, I forget the name of the daughter. They had one named Lucy and another one I think was named Betsy, and I think it may have been Betsy. She was perfectly targeted at night, being slapped across the face a lot by unseen hands or force. And that's when it starts escalating, and it's even reported that the slaves they owned was being reported that he was frequently chased by a black dog, and whenever he was seen as visiting his wife, the dog would follow him. So that the spirit or creature, whatever it is, it shape shifts. Sometimes it could be a dog, sometimes it could be a beast, or any creature. So it could be a human spirit. One of the daughters reported that, I think it may have been Lucy, said that it was like a little girl playing on a swing, and it makes sounds, and it has a voice. And the voice, sometimes it's been reported the identity of the spirit may have been Kate Batts, jealous lover, I guess, of John Bell or some sort. Others say it may have been an overseer. It may have been the overseer that John Bell killed, had murdered. And this is from accounts from Mississippi and their variations. At last, the spirit keeps taunting the family, and they get help from the minister to try to drive out the spirit. Though that doesn't really do much good. The spirit does answer, saying that the spirit I was once having, but now I've been disturbed. So I guess something has angered the spirit, but it's never been known what has angered the spirit. And it keeps taunting the family, and people, not just from Tennessee, but people from parts of the country and even overseas from England have came over to witness this paranormal occurrences. There's been legends and conflicting accounts saying that Andrew Jackson at one point in time came over to I guess to explore the Bell House, and and the entity that was inhabiting the home. And what I read on the internet is kind of odd. What I heard is that some of the men that accompanied Jackson were being thrown. That was the spirit was when the man was being pulled with his nose almost out the doorway. And Jackson replies that why this is never had so much fun like this. This beats fighting with the British, which Jackson was known to be very intolerable. They have less tolerance for British people because of an incident where his brother was killed by the British, and they slashed his face. And from that point on, he had a grudge with British people. But that's different. Other accounts said that he fled out in terror and couldn't spend another night in the Bell Witch home. Is other variations I'm familiar with, but people say that other historians argue, and paranormal experts say, I guess scholars or debunkers say that Andrew Jackson was never came to the Bell home at one point in time. It's never been proven. It's just very conflicting what much of the story is. Though the hauntings kind of cease when the spirit kills John Bell, which has been said the spirit was wanting to kill was setting out to kill John Bell at some point in time. Though ironically, the spirit was very friendly with the rest of the family members, particularly one of the daughters, Lucy. The spirit was very friendly with her and gave her fruit and items of such. But John Bell in 1820 would die of poisoning of his medicine. It's never been explained what caused poison. Some people attribute to the spirit itself. And it's been said when he was they're having the burial service, it was said the spirit was laughing and taunting at the family. And it's said in other variations say that the spirit would, from that point on, at John Bell's death, supernatural occurrence would stop for a while, but then it said in 1828 it occurred again with one of the family members. And it said they just didn't instigate or encourage the spirit, so they just left it alone and just wait for the cease, which eventually did at some point. And that's it. Though people still report sightings of the Bell Witch on the vacant farm on the property in the cave, which is said to be the order where the spirit came from. And there's been different books and stories written about in magazines and newspaper clippings, newspaper stories of this phenomenon, this occurrence. And people have different variations and stories. Some people think it's fabricated, some think it's true, but it's never been fully explained based on some of my knowledge. And this story, as I said, has been the subject of many documentaries, which is Night Visitors, which didn't appear on the article when I was reading this research, kind of browsing the internet about this story. And it's very obscure documentary, as I said, but I like the reenactments. That's just the feel of the reenactments, and the documentary has like a gothic feel to it. And I frequently watch it around Halloween. Kind of old-fashioned gothic feel. It was also the subject for another documentary I mentioned, America's Haunted Houses, which also appeared both on the Travel Channel. And there's been other documentaries such as Gold's Adventures have paranormal investigators explored it. I never really watched this episode, but it's been listed on there as well. Some other documentaries as well. There's been movies, been a lot of movies that I didn't know about. There was a lot of movies that I never knew they were made about the Blair Witch haunting. It's the Blair Witch story. I know one movie I'm familiar with was called American Haunting. I saw that when I was 10 years old in the 4th grade. And it stars Sissy Spacek. And there were some other movies, the Blair Witch Haunting, Blair Witch. 2 movies called the Blair Witch Haunting. One was a theatrical film, and the other one was like a low budget made TV movie. And it's been the basis for other movie or the trope in the franchise with the element of the Indian burial ground, which is supposed to be associated with the story as well. It's been such as Poltergeist, Paranormal Activity, and some other such films. I've seen Poltergeist, but I've never seen Paranormal Activity or any of these other movies because I'm really not a horror movie. Well, really big horror movie person, but I do watch historical movie, like historical documentaries or maybe old-fashioned movies, but not the current stuff. I'm just familiar with the story from paranormal documentaries as a historical paranormal event. And that's all I have to say on the subject. It's never been the account isn't very explained, and there's a lot of variations to it. But I just want to tell the basic, I guess, points and facts of the story. That's all I have to say on this topic. Reviewed by Chase Pounds. Stay tuned for our next video.